Drunken Hat. Hello everybody and welcome back to Magic the Gathering Arena. Today, we are checking out Sultai Surveil. If you caught the video, this is just kind of a standard Sultai control deck. But I feel like it's nice to go into it. Anyway, the commander is Jorn, God of Winter. Now on his front side, he's a 3/3 for 3 that untaps all of your snow permanents whenever he attacks, including himself. Your snow permanents can include both your snow lands and snow creatures, like Morite? I don't know. Whatever he turns into. Cold Steel Heart. Hey, why not? Where is it? Sculptor of Winter. Untaps her so she can untap another land. He does have to attack for it to happen, so he might get, which, to help prevent that, one of the first edits is I would add in a Secret Passage, or whatever the equivalent is in Arena. 3 mana, tap, target thing with power 3 or less can't be blocked. Just to get those attacks in. But unless you have some way to prevent your mana from emptying, he'll never accelerate you. But you will get a second round of just playing your entire hand, which is usually what you do. You play everything pre-combat, then go to combat, swing with Jorn, untap all of your lands, and then you go ahead and you're like, oh, look at all this mana up. Then you could use it to leave it up for counter spells, play more, especially if you have used something like Harrow and gone and gotten a couple of snowlands, or Circuitous Route as well. It just becomes pretty nice. Let's see. His backside, Cauldron the Rhyme Staff, is really nice, especially in the kind of Sultai sort of Delver, put stuff in my graveyard, let me replay it. One of the best things you can play with it is Priest of the Haunted Edge, because from mid-game onward, this thing kills almost everything. And so you just tap the Rhyme Staff, play the Priest, wait a turn, tap the Priest, kill something, tap the Staff, play the Priest, wait a turn. You can end up removing a lot of stuff. And because it's --, it gets past indestructible. So that's pretty cool. Let's get into the reason that I built this deck. Titan's Nest. At the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. You may put that card into your graveyard. So you surveil one every turn. Then you can exile a card from your graveyard to add 1 colorless and spend it only to cast a spell that's 1 or more colors without X its mana cost. This is an amazing card. Just because anything you don't see yourself like reusing or bringing back to your hand, like a Harrow or a Cultivate that you don't necessarily feel like putting back, just turns into extra ramp. It's 4 mana, so unfortunately it's kind of... But it's so cool. I love it. I love the effect. Just like Search for Azcanta. Just getting to surveil every single turn. I wish they would call it Surveil so that I could get like the De Beer Spy Bug and just be like, yo, it's huge. But hey, I like the effect of looking at the top card and being able to pitch it, and then it just gives you so much value. Especially in decks where you're like, oh, look, it's a Chromatic Orrery. If you put that out and suddenly this is all your colors, so you're like, I'm just going to play everything. Why not? I'll just play it. Yeah. Then I've got your standard Harrow, Cultivate, Growing Rights. Growing Rights I'll probably take out, just because it was kind of like a last minute, oh, this will be cool. But I don't really have enough solid bunch of creatures hitting the field to really matter for that. Most of my creatures die when I... most of them, like Priest, Dawn Treader, they usually just die. And, yeah. Again, Bloodchief's Thirst. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. This goes in every black deck. Other things like Eaten Alive, where the alternate cost is Sacrifice, they're not as good as this, because this hits all the early stuff that you could possibly want. And if your opponent is running one of those 2-cost commanders, you're just like, bye. It's just, Usually because the disruption that this costs for 1 mana really helps you out. And like if you do it on, if you go first and do this on turn 2 to kill their like their Llanowar elf, and then like drop a Brainstorm or a Otherworldly Gaze, or even if you just Blood Chief it, it disrupts them so hard. Then obviously I've got the Memory Lapse, Negate, the Japanese arts because they're cool. Essence Scatter is kind of like a iffy. Yes, it does hit most commanders, but when it doesn't hit anything, it's a super dead card. Like, Negate hits a lot more like late game bombs, but late game, any creatures they're playing for really expensive stuff, you're kind of like, And even stuff like Coma just can't be countered, so you're like, what am I going to do with this? I run Tameo because I'm a greedy boy, and I love pulling Time Warp back to my hand. That's it. That's... Multiple turns is just very fun. I run a kind of heavy late game, just because I've got like a lot of things that go in the graveyard, plus I can bring them back. Ulamog is cool when you cast him, but he's even cooler when you mill him and play him on turn 5 with a Return Upon the Tide or Rise Again. Ooh, I could play him on turn 4. Can you imagine a turn 4 Ulamog? What do they even do at that point? Omniscience is only in there because I also have Emergent Ultimatum, which is beautiful. It's just really good. You're like, oh, I'm going to grab a Time Warp, I'm going to grab an Omniscience, and... Or wait, no, it has to be different colors, right? Nope, it's just 3 monocolor. I'm going to grab an Omniscience, a Time Warp, and... why not a Shieldred? What are you going to give me? And they're just like, none of that is good for me. But yeah, it's just a fun deck. It's got the snow parts. Running it back, I'll probably take out the Triumph. It's just, it doesn't fit with anything. It's slow, for no reason. You know. As far as, if you're in Arena, because Arena doesn't have, like, all the cool stuff, like, man, I'm blanking on it, but it's the Overload. Return each permanent you don't control to its owner's hand. This is an amazing substitute. If you, when you drop this, your opponent's like, well, crap. Especially if you've already got a bit of a board, you can use that to swing in for lethal. You can just use it to delay them. Say they played a bunch of mana rocks. Suddenly they have to play all their rocks again. That's really good. I have Final Partying in here just to potentially dump an Ulamog into my graveyard and then get whatever into my hand. Usually when I play this, I get either Return Upon or Rise Again and dump an Ulamog. There are some times when you want the Shieldred just because the sacrifice is really good. If they don't have like a lot of small fodder, if they're losing something of value, Shieldred is good. But mostly she's just in there to, again, be a bomb. Yeah. I built it for Titan's Nest, and I'm not ashamed. It's honestly really easy to figure it out. Saw it coming, just let it counterspell. It's Sultai. You kill stuff, you counter spells, and you ramp yourself. That's what you do. But yeah, that's the Sultai Surveil deck using Jorn, God of Winter. If you liked it, hit a like. Potentially share. If you really liked it, check out my channel where I upload Magic the Gathering content daily. As always, thank you all for watching. Decklist below. Bye-bye.
Drunken Hat.